Christie took a deep breath as she looked at herself in the mirror. Her golden curls framed her face, bouncing lightly with every movement. They were beautiful, unique, and made her feel special. But lately, they had also been a source of immense frustration. As a diving instructor, Christie spent hours in the water, leading groups through the wonders of the deep sea. Every time she emerged from a dive, her curls clung to her scalp in damp, tangled messes, taking forever to dry and demanding constant care. She loved her job more than anything, showing people the marvels of the ocean, guiding them through vibrant coral reefs, and watching their eyes light up as they encountered marine life. It was what she lived for. But her hair, that was another story. Lately, the frustration had been growing. After each dive, she found herself spending too much time combing out knots, applying conditioners, and drying her hair. It was starting to drain her energy, and worse, it was taking away from the joy of her work. She tried different methods, braiding it, tying it up, even using specialty drying towels. But nothing truly solved the problem. Even with extra effort, her hair still remained a hassle, and it weighed on her mind more than she wanted to admit. One day, as she was preparing to take a new group out for a dive, she noticed one of the women in her group. She was completely bald. Christie couldn't help but stare, mesmerized by how effortlessly the woman put on her wetsuit and secured her diving mask. There was no fussing with wet strands, no hair getting caught in the straps, just quick and efficient movements. The woman exuded confidence, and Christie envied her ease. When they resurfaced from their dive, Christie watched as the woman dried herself off with ease. Within minutes, she was fresh and ready to go, while Christie was still struggling to untangle her soaked curls. Jealousy crept into her heart, but at the same time, she felt a deep attachment to her curls. They were a part of her, a defining feature. Could she really get rid of them? That night, Christie couldn't stop thinking about it. The idea of shaving her head felt extreme, but there was something liberating about it. Would she really have the courage? Would she regret it? She needed advice. She spent hours watching videos of women shaving their heads, reading stories about the experience, and imagining what it would feel like. The next morning, she walked into the salon, still unsure about what she wanted. The scent of shampoos and styling products filled the air as she sat down in the stylist's chair. The hairdresser, a kind-looking woman with a patient smile, ran her fingers through Christie's golden curls. "What can I do for you today?" she asked. Christie hesitated before answering. "I have a problem. I love my curls, but I'm a diving instructor, and my hair is becoming a burden. It stays wet for too long, it gets tangled, and it's exhausting to deal with. I don't want to be without curls, but I also want the freedom of not having to deal with them. I don't know what to do." The hairdresser nodded thoughtfully. "I understand. It sounds like you're torn between your attachment to your hair and the practicality of going shorter. I can give you two choices. I can cut it shorter, which will make it more manageable, or you can go all the way and shave it off." Christie's heart pounded. Shorter or bald? The thought of being bald sent a jolt of panic through her body. But before she could stop herself, the words burst from her mouth. Bald. The hairdresser raised her brows slightly but smiled. "Are you sure?" Christie's breath was shaky. Was she sure? Number? But something inside her screamed that she needed to do this. "Yes," she said, her voice more certain this time. "Shave it all off." The hairdresser nodded. "All right then, let's do this." Christie swallowed hard as the hairdresser picked up a pair of clippers and snapped on the shortest guard. The buzzing sound filled the air, making Christie's stomach twist. This was it. There was no turning back now. The hairdresser placed a gentle hand on Christie's shoulder before bringing the clippers to her temple. As the metal met her scalp, she felt the first lock of curls detach. It tumbled down to her lap, golden and perfect. A part of her for so long, but now severed. The vibrations of the clippers sent tingles down her spine as more and more of her curls fell away. Christie clenched her fists as she watched them collect in her lap and on the floor. It was happening so fast. Strands of her identity, pieces of the woman she had always been, were vanishing right before her eyes. Tears welled up as she felt the cool air on her freshly shaven scalp. The buzzing moved steadily over her head, sides, top, back, stripping her of the weight she had carried for so long. When the last curl was gone, the hairdresser switched to a razor, smoothing over Christie's scalp until it was completely bald. The feeling was foreign but strangely satisfying. She touched her head, her fingers sliding over the smoothness, adjusting to the new sensation. Christie exhaled shakily as she looked at her reflection. It was surreal. Her head was smooth and shining under the salon lights. She ran a trembling hand over her scalp, feeling the unfamiliar sensation of her own skin without the barrier of curls. A pang of regret hit her as she glanced down at the golden locks scattered on the floor. She had loved those curls, but as she studied her reflection again, something shifted inside her. She looked different, stronger, bolder. "Wow," she whispered. "I actually like it." The hairdresser smiled. "It suits you." Christie took a deep breath. The weight of her hair was gone, and with it, the burden she had carried. She was free. That evening, as she prepared for another dive, she pulled on her wetsuit and mask with an ease she had never known before. There was no hair to fix, no tangles to comb through. Just her, the water, and the adventure ahead. As she plunged into the deep blue, she felt lighter than ever. And for the first time in a long time, she felt completely, utterly free. The water embraced her scalp differently, cooling her in a way she had never experienced. She swam deeper, feeling an exhilarating new sense of liberation. She no longer had to worry about post-dive routines or time-consuming hair care. It was just her and the ocean, two forces that had finally found harmony. And as she emerged from the water that day, the sun glistening off her smooth scalp, she knew she had made the right choice. The fear was gone, replaced by confidence. She had let go of the past, and in doing so, she had embraced a new, unburdened version of herself.